Hello, my loves. Welcome back to BehatiLife YouTube channel. I'm Jessica Alexandria, the creator behind BehatiLife Apothecary, professional astrologer, tarot, and intuitive reader. Thank you so much for joining me in 2022. We're going to be pulling the cards. We are going to be pulling the charts, and we're going to be diving into the week ahead, which is so magical because this is the first week of 2022. Can you believe that we made it here? Can you believe that we made it here thus far? Before we dive into the energy of this week ahead, I really want to invite you to, if you can, and if it's safe for you to do so, I really want to invite you to ground and center yourself and stabilize yourself in the idea of the divine, or in the idea of the universe, or in the idea of a higher power or a higher intelligence or your higher self, whatever it is that you believe in. Every single one of us has our own path, 1000%. Every single one of us has our own path, and we have our own beliefs and different ways that we are walking in that resonate with us and that honor the truth that we were born here with. And before we get 2022 initiated, before we get this party started, I really want to remind you of where magic comes from, where life comes from, where source energy comes from. And I want you to tap into that, and I want you to hold on to it. 2022 is going to be a year of turbulent energies. I'll say that astrologically, there's a lot of turbulence that we're going to be experiencing this year, but it's nothing that we can't handle. It's nothing that we aren't wired for, and it's nothing that isn't going to provide us some level of tremendous growth. And if you start this year plugged into this higher source, this really super intelligent source energy, this creative energy that's out there, whatever it is that you believe in, you're going to be able to feel the peace that is going to come from within by connecting to that. And the more that you connect to that feeling of peace, the more that no matter what happens, and this is not me being cryptic, I promise you, the more, no matter what happens, you are going to have a really strong sense of discernment and clarity that everything is happening with divine order, no matter how chaotic or how much it doesn't make sense to you, your logical mind in that moment in time. And one thing that I wanted to share with you guys this morning is during my meditation, and we'll definitely dive into the cards. During my meditation this morning, Spirit was really, really moving, and still is moving around me today, of course, but very, very strong. And one of the main messages that was coming through was the word chaos and the word creative. And I feel and I believe that Spirit, God, higher power, whoever, wants to remind you of the many infinite ways that it will find a door to reach you, to touch you, to communicate with you, to bless you, to speak life into you, to speak a message. We have to have discernment though, because if we're believing in hearing things and taking everything as a sign, we're going to start getting confused. And one of the reasons why I really want to call you to hyper focus on yourself and grounding yourself in the divine is because I want you to allow that to be your lifeline. Because no matter what happens, again, no matter what you hear, no matter what could ever go on, not even events, but whatever it is that you hear someone say or whatever it is that you plan on doing, you will never have to question it, and you'll never be lost because you'll have this open communication, this open dialogue, this open line, this wire of energy coming from you to Spirit that is telling you that this is right for you, or this is wrong for you, or this is the way to go, or this is the way that you don't want to go. The only person who will ever be able to answer that for you is spirit talking to your higher self. That's it. And what's so amazing is that you can never really be lost. You can never be abandoned. You can never mess up if you are connected to that divine source. Do you know what I mean? And 2022 is absolutely going to be a year of tremendous, tremendous growth, revelation, revolution. Did I say transformation? Big time transformation. Not only in the world, but within ourselves. We want to make sure that we are minimum connected to source. That way we are grounded in something that is actually stable, so that when things are unstable, we're not panicking. I hope that makes sense. I want to give a quick shout out to everyone that's been asking and been so patient with me for the 2022 Astro and Intuitive Guide book, the guidebook. It will be done, I promise you. I've been working, as you guys know, way more slower than I've ever have in my entire life. It has been a very magical and I've been learning so many lessons simply just by slowing down and not just churning things and cranking them out because I can do it. And I'm allowing myself these days, and I want to invite you to do the same thing for yourself, there's nowhere to rush. There's nowhere to rush to, you know, and magic is going to be magic regardless. It'll be powerful, but no matter, for me, I feel like magic is going to be powerful regardless, because the intention behind that and the will behind that is always clear and focused. But the magician herself, we don't want her to be exhausted. We don't want her to be churning things out all the time. The magic is going to be potent regardless. The end result is going to be fantastic. The end result is going to be something to be proud of. But at the same time, we want to make sure that there's balance with that. And balance is such a beautiful thing, especially in 2022. Having said that, you guys, thank you so much for listening. Feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube. I'm just kidding. You know, they're like, thanks for coming in. Bye. No. Let's go ahead and look into the cards, my loves. So we currently have Venus retrograde right now, which is totally revamping what is most valuable to us. Definitely in the eyes of relationships, definitely in the eyes of money, definitely in the eyes of connections, intimacy, our things, our values. A lot of you guys have been going through your closet, cleaning your closet out. Maybe that's a New Year's resolution that you've had, is to kind of simplify. I'm hearing the words new normal. I feel like with the way of the world right now, some of you guys are having a really interesting moment or interesting revelations of the word surrender. What does that mean to you? With the Knight of Cups here, I do feel like many of you guys are exploring and experimenting with the word surrender. This means that you are, especially with Five of Cups here, this Five of Cups card just jumped out. With the Five of Cups and the Nine of Cups, I feel like you're learning how, or you've been exploring how to let go of things that it is that you can't control. I feel that for many of you, if this resonates, you will know. For many of you, you have learned that there are certain hopes, wishes, desires, goals in 2021, and then beyond that in the past that you have held on to, that you have emotionally invested yourself in. They represented something more, something larger than what it seems. This felt so deep within you. It was something that you intuitively sensed a very strong need for. Maybe there was an absence in your upbringing or something that you needed in order to quench a thirst within yourself, and I just feel like you just keep showing up. You keep showing up, or keep having hope, or keep putting the work in, or keep forgiving, or keep allowing something in, or keep trying, and it just feels like a wave would come in and crash it, or you would be so exhausted from swimming, you know, and kind of treading water and whatever this thing was. Then you would have to rest. You would be called to rest. You would feel guided to rest. You would close your eyes for a second because you felt like you were in a safe space. You would wake up and everything would be dashed. Everything would be taken from you. And then you would look out to spirit and look out to the stars like, you told me to rest. You told me to sleep. So why take this away from me when the moment I let my guard down? And I don't know if this message resonates with the majority of the collective right now, because remember, I am reading for the collective right now, and I feel you guys' energies really, really strongly. But I can tell you honestly that Spirit said that nothing done to you up until this point was done as a punishment. And on the flip side of that, nothing given to you was a reward. That means that regardless of how you would have performed or how much you would have underperformed, the outcome would have been the same regardless. There's some things in your life that are just absolutely fated, and certain lessons that just need to be learned regardless of how well you've mastered them or how well you fail at them. It's just, you're just a part of the collective. You're just a part of the world. And you're part of this web. And there's a lot of different strings attached to you and a lot of different expectations, not only for people in this reality, in this world, in your communities or people that you know, but also your ancestors, also your guides, and also just the world as a whole. That's a lot of pressure. So what I'm trying to say is that I can definitely feel and sense all of these different influences that are coming forward. What I don't want you to do, and what I can also sense, is I don't want you to internalize this and say that the reason why this happened was because I was on good behavior, or the reason why this happened was because I didn't do enough. It truly, genuinely does not feel like Spirit right now is operating from a space of, okay, this is why this happened to you. The real reason why things happen the way that they do is because they do serve a greater purpose. And at this point in history, we are 1000% all in this together. 1000%. If one person is lagging behind and demonstrating toxic energy or hurting or suffering, and another person is at the top of the game, just completely being exalted and celebrated and just having the best life, both of those energies are going to be felt by the collective as a whole. They're not a punishment, they're just a result. It is what it is. So having said that, moving forward, Spirit wants you to understand that anything that happened, good or bad, to you up until this point was not a punishment and was not a reward. It was neither. It just was a part of the experience here on Earth. Having said that, I'm going to bring it around full circle. This is where we meet you today. By we, I mean Spirit and myself. We're meeting you today. We've decided to intuitively connect. Whether you and I have seen each other before, or whether like multiple times, we meet same time, roughly the same time every week, or we're meeting for the first time. You had a reservation reserved, booked for us to come together and have this exchange right now. There's a message here for you right now. And for that, I want to say thank you for showing up and not keeping me waiting for too long. You know, the honor that I have in my heart and the gratitude I have that we're able to have this space here now presently is immense. All we have is time, and all we have is right here now in the moment, and you're choosing to spend that with me, and that's the biggest blessing and gift that you could ever give me. So thank you. Next to some well wishes and some good prayers and some good intentions, right? So having said that, whoever this is for, my love, Spirit is inviting you into the space of the word surrender. I think the word is God give me the serenity to accept the things that it is I can't change. I never can remember the serenity prayer, probably because I should probably work on it. But pretty much let me Google it for you. I have the internet right here. But also, while I'm writing this, or while I'm looking this up, feel free to comment it down below and I'll pin it. Okay, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This wisdom, my loves, is what I'm seeing here in the chart, just to bring it around full circle. Duh, I'm looking at the wrong year. I knew it. I could sense it. I got 2021 still stuck here. I knew it. This wisdom that I can, there we go. This wisdom that I'm feeling and that I'm sensing is absolutely Jupiter moving through the sign now of Pisces. Jupiter finally entered into the sign of Pisces. And the thing is about Jupiter is that it is absolutely 1000% the guru of the zodiac, of the planets. And in Pisces, it's this high vibrational, intuitive, gifted presence that we have all stepped forward into. And Pisces just naturally rules the ocean, it rules the depths, it rules the sea, it rules the underworld, and the subconscious, the psychology, why we do what we do, even though we may not fully understand it. We just know that it is what it is, and sometimes that can be crippling for us. As Jupiter is now moving into the sign of Pisces, we ourselves find ourselves kind of floating and learning how to swim in these oceans. And I feel your wisdom now moving forward is going to come through the reminder of the Serenity Prayer. It's going to come through that there are some things that you simply cannot change, and there are going to be some things that you can change, but they're going to require a lot of your determination, a lot of attitude, fortitude, and a willingness to show up regardless of your fear and regardless of what the rest of the world will say, or regardless of what your ego is saying. Show up regardless. Your wisdom is going to come from that deep space within you that I was talking about in the very beginning that says, yo, I'm going to tap into source first and foremost before I tap into anything else. And that's how I'm going to start my day. That's how I'm going to make my decisions. That's how I'm going to make my next move. That's how I'm going to approach my relationship. That's how I'm going to approach my diet or my lifestyle. Because you are now stepping forward from a place of courage and deeper wisdom and deeper truth that can come from only within, from you, from your higher self and higher source. Having said that, my loves, nothing that we know right now is steady. I'm just going to keep it 1000% with you. Nothing that we know right now is steady. Looking at the charts, everything is being destabilized as we talk. It has been for a while. This is nothing new. You guys know I'm not the type of person to come in and just sprinkle fairy dust and just be like, everything is fine. Clearly, there's some things that are fine and there are things that are okay. And clearly there are some things that are really struggling and they don't, from the logical perspective, they don't make any sense. But that's when you sit with yourself and you're just like, wait a minute. As chaotic as this mentally seems and as chaotic as this looks, I do have a sense that there is a divine order in all of this, and I've got to trust. And that allows you to have serenity. That allows you to accept the process instead of fighting the process, and flowing with the process instead of drowning in it. Okay? That's what's going to make you strong. That's what's going to make your intuitive gifts stronger. That's where it's going to carry you further than if you're just fighting, and getting drawn into the bowel of that current. I actually had a dream about that last night. The Mississippi River just kind of churning. It reminded me of my days when I was living in New Orleans, and I would just watch the Mississippi River like churning out there. I'm just like, oh my God, I could feel like the energies and the spirits of the river. It was wild. That feels like a lifetime ago. Anyways, my loves, I'm sure some of you guys can absolutely relate to this message and what it is that I'm saying to you now. I also want to say, and I just heard Spirit say this, we trust that you're going to make the right choice. We trust that you're going to make the right decision. I just asked in my head, Spirit, what does that mean? Spirit says, you're going to come to us, the confidence that Spirit has right now. Because I'm just like, are you sure? But Spirit is saying, you are going to come to us for counsel or you're going to be reminded to come to us for counsel more often than you have ever in the past, simply because you're more receptive to receiving it now. I just heard that is a part of the process of this divine order and divine chaos. If it wasn't for the tumultuous energies that you have already survived, that you've already lived through, then you wouldn't have been carried thus far. Like, you wouldn't have been carried forward. Believe it or not. That's what Spirit is really saying right now. I'm also hearing, I'm getting a strong sense of, with us, there's nothing that you should really find yourself worrying about for too long, or staying in a space of worry for too long. Surrender that. I just heard, surrender thy will. Some of you guys, and now I'm being called to talk to you guys about the Magician card. Okay. Some of you guys, this is really, really clear. Some of you guys say, how do we balance? This is a conversation that you've had, a question that you've had. How do we balance? How do I balance between setting my intention and respecting divine's will for my life, or the will or the flow of the universe? So, and I'm also hearing as above, so below, especially with the Magician card. Okay? The thing is that when you ground and stabilize yourself and you connect to the higher source, you will start to gain further clarity and further discernment into what is actually for you versus what it is that you want, because those wants, needs, desires come from a subconscious place that is toxic, overburdened, barren, lost, disabled, crippled, whatever the case is. Spirit is going to teach you. I'm hearing this very clearly. I'm hearing like a belt, actually, too. It just cracked. Or a whip. It's like either a whip or a belt just cracked right over my head. We are going to teach you how to know the difference. Surrender your will and step into our will. We are going to take you further than where you would have gone all by yourself. They said that very slow. All by yourself. They are saying you are not alone. I don't know why they always go slow. You are not alone. We are here with you. You are being guided. Something about this means, I don't know why, means it's going to be more now than ever before. When before it was a little inkling in the back of your mind, now it's going to be really loud and in your face. Some of you guys are going to celebrate knowing that finally I can hear my angels and my guides and my ancestors clearer than ever before, or God clearer than ever before. Some of you guys are, the other 50% of you, are going to be freaked out by it and not ready. That is your path to go through and to grow through. But also, there's nothing for you to be afraid of. Spirit is coming through with that belt, though, that whip action, and saying, well, you've been avoiding us for too long. That's why you're afraid of hearing us, because we've been talking to you and you've been trying to find all these different ways to kind of drown out our voice. Now you can no longer avoid it. I'm also hearing like the energy of justice. So this is not a punishment or a reward. It's just what is fair and right, and what will carry you to where it is that you're meant to go to. Having said that, there's nothing that you should be stuck on. And I'm hearing like curiously exploring from a negative way, where you just keep thinking the worst case scenario. Your brain is very, very creative. There goes Franklin. He's so cute. She has so much bass in her voice now. Spirit, what are you trying to tell us? So I just heard this message was for me, which is pretty exciting. Nova, come on, honey. Come here, babe. Come here, let me see you. Sorry for those of you guys that have headphones. Let me see your face. Come here, this way. Good girl. She's a good baby. She a runner, she a track star. Some of you guys, I'm hearing the message, well, I heard this from me, but some of you guys are literally, we're on the same path, right? There are going to be the leaders and there are going to be the followers, and we don't get to choose which we are half the time. But for those that are the leaders, some of them, there's this message that's saying you're going to be learning how to lead by example in a different way. I have 7 of Cups here. I have 8 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles, and 4 of Cups. Some of you guys are going to be learning how to lead by example. And with the 7 of Cups, there is a message here that always shows up, which I love because I'm all about this. Authenticity, integrity, making sure that you are being your honest, true self and showing up in that light. 8 of Wands, interestingly enough, some of you guys, this lead by example, it's not just, you know, things like it is that I'm doing, like being on the internet, having a YouTube channel, or sharing my Instagram with the world and my magic and my lifestyle with the world. Some of you guys, it's children. It's interesting that I'm seeing 7 of Cups as lead by example, because 7 of Cups actually usually represents choices and options and fantasy and wishful thinking. In this case, I see this as those 7 of Cups are actually watching you, and to choose wisely based upon what you do decide to show and share. For a lot of you guys, this has to do with the next legacy, the next generation, your children. Others, while things are breaking down astrologically, there are a lot of people who are lost in everyone's different communities. We're all kind of going through the separate things. And there are a lot of people that are kind of spiraling tops right now. They're feeling really lost. They're feeling really abandoned, and they're just kind of reacting on things. You are making a bigger impact and difference on the choices and the decisions that they make simply just by leading by example, by honoring your truth, whether you know it or whether you don't. Having said that, we want you to make sure that you are moving with integrity and authenticity. Not everyone is going to agree with the path that you decide to take, but it will make a difference in the choices and decisions that you are making and that you've already made. Even if it's not the similar path of the people that you are inspiring, the fact that you're able to do it and the fact that you are feeling courageous enough and bold enough to continue to show up and put yourself out there regardless of the opposition will speak loudly than you trying to tell others what to do. 8 of Wands is actually Spirit saying this is the momentum, the movement of what you yourself have begun to carry forward. For the sake of others, is what I just heard, for the sake of others. There are certain things that are going to be sacrificed, and it's going to have a lot to do with your comfort. It's going to have a lot to do sometimes with hits to your confidence. It's going to have a lot to do with you having to fight with yourself. Do I want to show up in this way today? I don't feel up to it. Let's be honest. And Spirit says, those are the days where we really want you to come to us and to talk to us about it, because we want to give you the strength and we want to give you the inspiration and we want to carry you forward. So it's not you carrying the weight of the world, the weight of your family, the weight of your business, the weight of your community, the weight of your own expectations, the weight of your own goals. This is not just the elders. This is also younger children, teenagers. The choices that you guys make is very, very impactful to the communities around you. Best believe that. Things are changing now. You are changing, and you have certain truths and revelations and perspectives and messages and gifts that other people don't have. And you are going to be called in 2022 to lead by example, whether you feel ready for that or not. Having said that, 3 of Coins is here, aka 3 of Pentacles and the 4 of Cups. Spirit says, while you're leading by example, we want you to make sure that you're taking care of your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, and you're fueling it. Some of you guys are going to employ, that's a special word that they're using, you're going to employ a special practice that is going to fuel your energy as you're being called to carry forward. This means that maybe some of you are going to be called to vegetarian diets. Maybe you're going to be called to drink more water. Maybe you're going to be called to work out in different ways. Maybe you're going to be called to hang out with different groups of people. Maybe you're going to be called to date someone of a different race or a different nationality or different belief system or whatever the case is. There's a certain lifestyle choice and decision that you're going to make that you're going to be led to that is going to be different from your everyday normal, but it's going to feed you and fuel you in a different way. Allow yourself to receive that right now. No judgment. I'm done with these cards, actually. Spirit just led me to that. For those of you guys that are wondering what cards I was looking at, I'm looking at 8 of Cups, 9 of Swords, 4 of Wands, Magician, and 2 of Swords. For those of you guys that are like, Jess, what about, you didn't talk about the 4 of Wands, you didn't talk about the 8 of Cups. I did. You may not have heard it, but, you know, Spirit speaks to me in different ways through the cards. Speaking of which, is there anything else that we need to say? Hanged Man, surrender. I'm hearing the song Cherish, Cherish by Madonna. Let me see what else we got going on here. Thank you guys for being patient with me as my puppies were loud earlier today. Something that's standing out to me right now is what we're all right, Spirit, speak to me on this one, because you just made me have like a brain fizzle. I'm hearing, you're gonna be, okay. Okay, hear me again. So I'm hearing and I'm feeling and I'm sensing this idea of initiation. Initiation means to move, for me right now, it means to move from one level to the next level by a series of tests, definitely in the spiritual kind. I'm starting to get very spaced out again. But it's just because I'm like seeing stuff. I'm seeing different things. I'm feeling, I'm getting a vision of someone getting blanketed by vines, like vines, actual vines, underneath the vines, and beyond the vines are the stars. This is so funny. And beyond the stars is another blanket of vines, and then beyond those vines is another blanket of stars. The reason why I feel like Spirit is showing me this, which is such a very, very specific message and metaphor, is because in our bubble, we can only see what we can see. This is going to go over some of you guys' heads. That's fine. In our bubble, in our world, you're only going to be able to see what you can see from your perspective, from your lens. But that's just your bubble and that's your world. There's the next layer. And from that one, there's the next layer. There's the next one, the next layer. It's funny because I did talk about this in my Metaverse podcast. The idea of going meta, or looking past our present in order to see like beyond our current limitations. And the only way that we can see that is by knowing that there's a limit there. But you don't know that there's a limit if you're just so used to living within the limitation. You know what I mean? Having said that, my loves, Ace of Coins, Page of Swords, Seven of Swords, Hermit reversed, and Four of Swords. Allow yourself to see beyond what you can't see right now. Some of you guys are like, bitch, what are you talking about? I feel you. That's fine. I'm glad you asked. What does that mean? How can I see something that I don't know? Well, that's when you talk to God about it. That's when you talk to the divine about it. That's when you go into your meditation. That's when you go into your dream work. Especially with Jupiter and went to the wrong chart again. Especially with Jupiter and Neptune moving to the sign of Pisces, your brain is going to start thinking about things way, way different. Wayward is the word that just came through. Wayward, odd. And with the Hangman here, especially with the card Hangman and the word surrender, it's a perspective shift, a change in how you see things. Be curious, ask questions, receive more mentally than you have ever in your entire life in the years to come, starting now. Boom. Are you keeping a dream journal? Are you keeping a journal? Are you in tune with who you should be in tune with? Who are you guided to listen to? Whose messages make sense to you? They don't tell you all the things that you want to hear. They tell you what you need to hear. Tap into that. Some things are going to be hidden from you simply because you're meant to stretch beyond your normal limitation today. You're going to be uncomfortable in this stretching process because your mind is going to shift, and the way that you look at your world, your reality, what's valuable to you, what's worth it to you, is meant to be molded at this point in time, at this stage within the game. I just heard spirits talk about the consequences of not. That's the thing. It's not that you will be punished for not thinking beyond your current limitations. It's just that you will miss all that there is to gain. It's not that there is a punishment or a consequence. You're just not going to get all that there is to gain. Spirit says, you have to ask yourself this, are you seeking the truth, the actual truth, or are you seeking what you only want to hear? That's when you're going to learn how to hear me differently. Surrender your will. That doesn't mean that you are not going to get what you've always wanted. It's just going to mean that some of you guys have been wanting the wrong things and you don't know the source of why you've been wanting them. This is why the perspective is starting to shift. This is why you're going to start leading by example. This is why you're going to be called to do things differently. You yourself as a person has already evolved. It's already happened. And there's a part of you that has been abandoned. Especially if you are exiting out of a dark night of the soul or a shadow stage, a shadow cycle, or shadow season within your life, or if you're still currently within it. Because there was a part of you that actually was I heard the word amorphous, something like it's been shape-shifting. Goo. A shapeless shape, just kind of totally being transcended. And you probably have been walking around feeling numb for quite some time. feeling like I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this, I'm manifesting this, but why do I still feel empty? Because you have been a shapeless shape for a minute now. And now Spirit says you are clearly exiting out of this cycle, this stage within your life, and now you are going to be defined. Now you are going to be defined. Now it is going to be defined. Now it will begin to make more sense, because you're going to start seeing this carving of the clay of your life, of your purpose, of your relationships, of why you're here. So this is why we want to break you out of your old way of being and lift you up. And this is happening globally. Different communities, different populations that look nothing like you can relate to you greater than those within your own community, within your own hometown, your old friends. Because this process, this journey, is not one that you just learn within the confines of your home or your safe space. It's something that goes beyond that. It was called by a higher purpose. It was called in with divine timing through the divine chaos. For some of you guys that are like, just none of this makes sense, this is definitely not your YouTube channel, my love. I love you. I say that with love, but you know, it's definitely a special message for certain people. So a lot of you guys are going to go through this journey, quote unquote, alone, aka you're just not going to want to talk about it. You're not going to feel lonely. You just are going to choose to go it alone. You're not going to talk about it, announce it to the world, be like, oh, I have a higher purpose, I'm doing this, I'm blah, 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 blah. This is just between you and God, you and the divine, you and your destiny. Should we start getting into these charms? We have the Temperance card here, 4 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles. You know what I just heard? Out of the ashes. That's beautiful. Out of the ashes. These are the charmy charms. This is so exciting. I don't know what they are. Here's some more charmies. I'm going to put them over here. First thing that's standing out to me is this charm that says, weakness is a choice. Can you guys see that? Weakness is a choice. Yo, be mindful of spammers and scammers in the comments. I'm not offering readings at this time. Especially not through WhatsApp. If you see it, report it. But these guys are evolving just like cockroaches. They evolve so fast. Okay, weakness is a choice. This has everything to do with the courageous heart of the lamb. Weakness is a choice. This means that, again, I just heard the word disciple. Weakness is a choice. This means that, again, this is bringing me back to what it was I said earlier, which is you are going to relate greater to people so far away from you that aren't in your community, that aren't from your friend circle than you've ever have before, because they are embracing this idea of weakness as a choice. This means, like, our society up until this point, I love this little flame, our society up until this point has told you or taught us, and this is a part of what has been abandoned, that being weak, asking for help, being vulnerable, showing up with love and transparency and open communication and putting your heart out there is something that you don't want to do. They want you to be aggressive, to be overproducing all the time, to constantly showing up loud, showing everything, and being triggered by things and cutting things off and emotionally isolating yourself and abandoning those around you and not operating from a space of love, and to actually be calm, to be centered, to gain clarity, and to approach forgiveness while also having boundaries and moving from a space of love is called weakness, but it's actually the courage of a lamb. So you are going to choose how you are going to show up every day. And this is why you're going to connect more with people who are on the same path as you, living maybe worlds apart, versus those within your community, and that's okay. Don't isolate or ostracize those within your community, is what I just heard, because they do serve a purpose. I'm seeing live your dream. This has a lot to do with the word integrity. I love you to the moon and back, and believe in love came through, and also this beautiful little peace sign. And then also you guys have the word inspire. Again, this is what it is that I'm saying. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to inspire big time action just by living in your truth, by living your dream. Some of you guys with I love you to the moon and back, you're going to have to keep some people, or you're going to be separate from certain people. But love doesn't have the same confines. Like it can't be just bound up and boxed in and say this is what love is. It just fits in this box, and if you don't touch it, you won't break it. Like, it's like, all right, calm down, chill. That's not how it works. I mean, that might be how it works for you, but then you wonder why, your relationships are toxic, or why you're constantly getting triggered because you're holding on to something that is not healthy. And it might be your normal, but make a new normal for yourself. Okay, we're going to break those generational curses. We're going to surrender. Okay, so I love you to the moon and back. You just give that energy out. You give that energy out. You allow yourself to be a channel for spirit, for God, the higher power, the divine, all-loving source of love and light, to move through you, move for you. And everything will be provided for you on the next level, guys. You will be fulfilled beyond. Okay, we have the Star card. Of course, we have the Justice card here. We also have the Hierophant. And this looks like the Chariot, because, of course, this is your will. This is your divine hope, integrity. Justice is showing up here twice, because we also have the Scales here. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to switch up the cameras at some point so you can actually see these charms. Let me put my incense down in the meantime so I can show you as best as I can. Someone took a screenshot the other day when I was showing my hand, and they were trying to get a picture of my palm in order to get to know me better. Please don't do that. I appreciate the interest, but guys, I don't like stuff like that. It always makes me uncomfortable. If I wanted my palm on the internet, I would definitely share that. But do you believe in palmistry? Let me know down in the comments. Curious. Have you ever gotten your palm read? I've gotten my palm read before. I don't know if you guys can see these charms, but just trust me. And then the Chariot was here. Random thoughts with Jess. How are we feeling about this really relaxed video? I just love this lately. Libra is here as well. Again, more justice energy here. This cause and effect, being a part of the greater collections, the greater consciousness, and not forcing your will. Things will play out as they will. We have the Taurus charm that just jumped out, and it's just calling me to look at Uranus retrograde in the sign of Taurus. This is just showing me, again, more disruption. We also have a reindeer. Is this a reindeer or is this a goat? I'm not entirely sure what that is, but that's definitely Capricorn, which we just happen to be in Capricorn season right now. We have the turtle, and we have a fish, but I'm going to say that it's a salmon. You guys can't see it, but just trust me. Boop. This has everything to do with swimming upstream for me, and your persistence, and this purpose that you feel that says literally, I'm not giving up. I feel so called to wherever it is I'm being led right now, and that's not something that I have to rush towards. You will be successful. You will prevail. Just don't give up. Abundance, you guys, and the frog card. So we have money here. We have the frog card is here, or the frog charm is here. This gives me abundance written all over it. I've never really seen the frog or a tropical frog, cookie, as a token of abundance, a material reward, but I can hear how much they are calling out to you the abundance that's going to come in. It's going to be fruitful, it's going to be lush, it's going to be tropical, it's going to be ravishing, it's going to be delicious, it's going to be juicy. That is what Spirit is giving into you. But these are things that money can't always buy, but some things money can buy. So really, guys, for some of you guys, that's going to be a big message there with living in your truth. We also have flowers here, the Christmas tree. We have a rose. We have, I'm not sure what this is, but I'm going to call it a hibiscus for right now. This actually is giving me peony vibes. So with this, I feel that this has a lot to do with beauty, lushness, community, coming together, those feelings, those beautiful feelings, looking for the beauty in life, looking for the beauty in the moments. We have sand castles here. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that song by Jimi Hendrix. Some castles made from sand will fall to the ground eventually. And this is again giving me the fact that we are in impermanent times right now. Nothing is going to last, which is not a bad thing. We have music. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What was that? We have the music charm. We have a bird coming in, and we also have a cobra spirit. It is so easy to see the dysfunction between you and me. Okay, built a wall around my heart, never let it fall apart. Strangely, I wish secretly it would fall down while I'm asleep. If you don't know and you can't care and you show up and you're not there, still I'm waiting and I want you, so afraid that I would hurt you. Yo, every day, with every word whispered, we get more far away. Yo, I could literally go on. Look into that song I'll build a wall around my heart, never let it fall apart. Strangely, I wish secretly it would fall down while I'm asleep. That's a message right there, Spirit. That's the message. Some of you guys, has to do with the cobra. Some of you guys are so accustomed, this is a part of not being your authentic self. You're so accustomed to enchanting the world or enchanting others or manipulating in some way or trying to perform or outdo or outperform or intoxicate something in order to get your desires. And the reality is, it's like, it just feels like it just keeps you in a loop. It keeps you in a bind. It keeps you in a basket. And you don't want this. You're like, you start feeling like there's got to be more to my experience. There's got to be more to love. There's got to be more to life. There's got to be more than this. And you start realizing, like, honestly, this entire time, I've allowed myself to kind of get pulled into these things when it's like, that's not who I am anymore. That's not what I want. I've evolved from this and I've abandoned that old aspect of myself, and now I'm free, or I want to be free. And you hear it and you feel it, and you start to hear now the drumming of something distant that now resonates with you more than the songs that you used to constantly get triggered by and pulled out of from the past. So Spirit is like, listen to those songs, listen to that music, listen to that orchestra, because that's us singing to you now and leading you into your own advancement, leading you into the next adventure, leading you into this next reality, this next world, this new world. That's where you're going to belong. And we are so proud of you for finally hearing our voice and responding and having the courage to dance with us now. Whew. Then we have children here, and this is, again, I heard love locked. So if you are waiting for children, if you have children, if there's been miscarriages, forgive me for saying that, if someone's been triggered, this has not been taken from you. No, ma'am. No, sir. This is not something that has been taken from you. It's waiting for you. Children wait for their parents. And children, babies, they have always had an internal, throughout history, I don't know why Spirit is saying, historically, children wait for the right time in history, for the right time for them to show up in the world, because they know when their time is right for them to come through, for their spirit to come through. And sometimes a little bit of them comes in and then boop, they go back into the cosmos. They go back into the God's home or the divine or spirit, the next realm. And as human beings, we can kind of suffer because we're like, oh my God, I was so close, I was so close, I was so close. And then now they're gone. They're not gone. No. No. They just show a little head and boop, go off. And it's so funny, like how children, this love is locked, my loves. It's locked. It's yours. And this also has something to do with those who have passed on. Children or, you know, people in family or whatever, you know, or the spirit of a grandmother or grandfather might be coming through your children. This is a very special message for someone. Or you meet a child, or you come in contact with a child who somehow just is a conduit and just like opens up to say something that your recently passed cousin would always say, and you're like, that was not that child, that was my cousin. And it could be a stranger's child, or you working with children or whatever, but a message is going to come through the children, through the spirit of the child. Children are amazing with that, and they deliver a message to you. Listen to children when they talk. Also, if you're waiting for children, or you've manifested children, or you recently experienced a miscarriage, that child is with you 1000%. Not, they're in such good hands, and this love is locked. You know, it's not going to go anywhere. It's actually with you more now than ever before. If you are about to birth a child or whatever the case is, you're right at the edge of that. It's coming. It's like, right, this child is, this presence, this soul of a child is right here. It could be also the spirit of twins or triplets is something that's also coming through. Or it's the energies of two different people within the body of one child, coming through the body with one child. So you're going to see a lot of different traits that you're just like, holy crap, that was definitely Grandpa Joe and little Jane. Okay, my loves. So thank you. Thank you for being with me. This was an hour long. Blessings over me as I upload this onto YouTube. Hopefully it doesn't give me too much trouble. The guidebook for 2022 is unfolding and will be up as I tickle my nose. You guys know what that means. You can find the pre-orders this week. Today is January 3rd. Holy crap, it's 4:30. Today is January 3rd, and it will be up before the end of this week, the pre-orders. If you would like to get the full Astro and Intuitive breakdown for the week ahead, which is amazing, by the way. Sorry, I'm still hearing music in my head, and I'm still channeling. I've been very sensitive to these energies lately. Also, check your diet and your lifestyle. What are we eating? How are you feeling? What is up? Drink more water. Pure water, my loves. Put lemons in it, herbs in it. It's gonna be good for you. Drink herb tea. Stay hydrated. So the guidebook for 2022 will be up shortly. The pre-order, I believe it'll be anywhere between $33 and $36. There'll be an ebook download and then also a paperback version. Yeah, so anyways, if you guys need me, of course, I'm a little spaced out today, but it's just because I've been channeling for 6 hours. Now 7, because I've been here hanging out with you guys for an hour, but I'm definitely not complaining because it's been amazing. If you need me, you can find me at BehatiLife.com. That's my home base. That's my honey hive. That's where I make all my honey. Candles, oils. Oh my goodness, wait till you see these herb bundles that I'm literally wrapping. Oh man, and body butter is coming. Crazy. You guys have been asking me for the body butter for years, man. That stuff is fire. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for being receptive. Thank you for being open. I'm sending you guys all of my love. How do we feel about the charms? Do we like the charms? I like the charms. And how do we feel about this format? It might be a little longer, but I feel like it's worth it. And also, I'm really seriously considering honoring my promise, or honoring what I told you guys that I would do, which is thinking about bringing back Tarot Tuesday. Well, now Astro Chat Live. Remember we used to do that every Monday? I would go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we would just shuffle all the cards. We'll see. Let me know down in the comments down below what you're thinking and feeling. Don't say yes to all, but you can say yes to all. But I want to hear more of you guys. Is more than just like a yes. Like, I'm a Virgo. Come on, give me details and specifics. All right, guys, I'm sending you all my love. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And oh, if you're not following me on Instagram, I want to invite you to do that. Also TikTok. Each one of those is BehatiLife. BehatiLife. I only have one BehatiLife account. My personal account is Jessica X Alexandria, which is currently private right now because the internet has been very, very, what is the word? Toxic lately? I'll say toxic. Well, I don't even want to call it toxic because it hasn't been toxic to me. I feel like it's toxic to you. I feel like it's toxic to the world because of how much value people place on observing things and making assumptions and making judgments. So I won't say that it's toxic for me. I feel like it's toxic for other people to be like, how they perceive certain things and how upset they get about certain stuff. That I'm like, maybe you should go for a walk and like reflect instead of getting angry. And really consider like where your source of anger is coming from. And yeah, that's my elbow. Okay, I've said enough. I love you guys so much. Thank you again for tuning in. I'll see you later.